All right. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining from. So, today we are going to get right into the conversation of what we have today. And so, basically, today we have a simple task that I know is going to be very, very beneficial to us, especially as we have been taking time every day to look at certain important specifics and dynamics that will be necessary for this year 2024. The idea is to end this year in a grand style, to do this year in a different and a better way. And so that's why we are coming up with these lessons and with these, nudgings, with these, pointers, and these headlines to help us to guide every one of us for the year so that we will be properly intimated with what God wants us to do this year 2024. So, wahoo. So we've been doing this consistently every day now. And so today is we are having this part, the sixth part of this series. So we started from the 2nd of January. That's apart from the 31st version. So we've been doing this from the 2nd of January, and I want to believe it has been impactful and you have been gaining wisdom from this series. So just to get this out of the way, the idea is basically from what God put in my heart that this year we have to do two important things: to walk with wisdom and to walk by faith. To walk with wisdom and to walk by faith. So everything we're going to be bringing to your way in all these series are going to be geared towards these two important instructions: walking with wisdom and walking by faith. You get the point now. So in our last session, we had to look at faith and explain faith and look at the supernatural life and examine situations where faith can fail and how to, overcome those situations. So today, I want to carry out a very simple task to bring up something that I think is also very, very critical for us to begin to look at, and especially as we begin to enter this year properly. So, and what we want to look at today is going to be serve as the more like the bedrock for most of the things that we have heard, and all the plans and all the strategy and all the things we are looking at setting up and putting up and carrying out for the year 2024. So that's why I'll be looking at something very simple, and the title I've titled it Set in Order. Set in Order. So the idea of this conversation I want to have with you tonight is very simple. I will take it off from the book of Titus, Titus chapter 1, verse 5. Titus chapter 1, verse 5. But before we look at that scripture, I'll just give you a few tips about the book of Titus and every other thing around it. So basically, Titus is a man that is more or less a partner with Paul and a co-laborer in the faith, and also fundamentally his son in the faith. So it happens simply that Paul was in a particular was in a city known as Crete with the gospel and all that. He has done a work there, started a church there and all that, and then certain ministry demands required that he left the place. But he went to that place with Titus, but now he has to leave the place. And so when upon leaving the place and getting to the other location where he went to, while leaving Titus in this place, he had to write a letter to Titus, and that's how we have the book of Titus. And so that you can also appreciate the book properly and know the job that Titus is faced with, you need to understand the context of the book. So basically, the city of Crete is more or less a very difficult city. It's a vast island in Greek, but it's a very difficult city. It's a place where, more like the Ajegule of this world, where you have riffraffs, where you have people that are heady. And that's why even in that place, in the book of Titus, from what Paul wrote to him, he had to make him know the city, the terrain in which he finds himself. So that's why in verse 12, Paul had to quote from a reliable source, a great philosopher of that time, Epinedrine, upon which he said, where the man, the philosopher, gave the characteristics of a typical Christian. And he mentioned three things about them. He said, number one, Christians are known to be great liars. Christians are known to be wild beasts, evil beasts. I mean that they are disorderly. They are very heady and stubborn. Another thing he talked about Cretans is that they are what? They are lazy gluttons. Basically, Cretan is a hard place to do the gospel. It's a hard place to do God's work. So, but Paul had to send Titus. So Titus is the kind of man that you send in a place that is hard. So when you have a hard place, send it Titus. So this year, from prophecies and futurists, we know that this year, like if you're in Nigeria, this year is not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough one. It's not about prophesying doom. It's a reality on ground. We are in the evil day, so the day will not get better. But we'll create system of security and preservation by wisdom and by faith to navigate the era. You understand? So that's why we are doing this. So it's a hard season. And so one of the important messages that Paul had to write to Titus in this kind of hard place, which I believe is very beneficial for us, especially as this year is going to be a hard year. Is what we find in verse 5 of Titus chapter 1. It says, "For this reason have I left you in Crete, that you should set in order the things that are lacking and appoint elders." So Paul charged Titus on the wisdom of navigating hard situation, hard years, hard season, hard terrain. And the fundamental instruction he gave him is that he should do what? Set things in order. Set in order. Set in order the things that are lacking. And so that's where we get what I want to talk to us with tonight from. Set in order. Set in order. So to set in order is a very, very important charge for anyone that wants to amount to anything this year. I think somewhere in the book of Revelation chapter 3, where the angel of the church was addressing, I think, the church in Sardis. He also mentioned similar things. He says, strengthen the remnant and the things that are dead. Strengthens what remains. Yeah. Strengthen what remains. So this is a new year. You can't be going over looking at the things that have gone behind. Apostle Paul said, "This one thing I do, forsaking the things that are behind me, and pressing for the mark, pressing for what is ahead." So one basic thing that you have to do for yourself this year is to begin to set your life in order. Set things in order. Set things in order, because what God wants to do, it requires order. Even from the book of Genesis, when God created, he showed us the pattern. He said the whole world was without form and void. Was without form, speak of order. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. But what happened? The Spirit of the Lord first brooded upon the dark places before God spoke light, and then creation work started. So for any work to start this year, the first thing you have to do is to overcome the formlessness and the disorderliness around our lives. So we must set order in our life. To set order means to introduce discipline to your life, means to introduce set ways in your life, means to plan properly, means to put things in the right places and places for the right things, so that this year we will have a more organized life. I hope you are getting what I'm saying tonight. Yeah. So if you look at that place we read in Titus, which is my main anchor scripture tonight, is that he told him, set in order. So if you look at that word set in order from the original Greek, the word you are going to have, if you check the lexicon, what you're going to have is what we call epidioton. Epidioton. And epidioton is also gotten from two Greek words. epi, which means upon, and authos, which means to straight. So if you want to get this, it means to straighten upon. Straighten upon. So to set in order means to straighten. Means to straighten. Please pay attention. It's getting interesting now. Means to straighten. So epidiotos. So gotten from two Greek words. Epi means upon. Author means what? To straighten. And so it is from these two Greek words, epi and author, that we get the word orthodos. Orthodos from. Yeah. And also where we got the word orthopedic. So the idea of this scripture where Paul says set in order is we can get it from the proper perspective from the word of orthopedic. Orthopedic is the branch of medicine that deals with bones. You can see bone is hard. Yeah. So once a bone is broken, what do? You take it to to this arm of medicine where orthopedic experts, begin to work on the bone. So what do? They straighten it. So the idea of setting in order is to straighten the bone, is to cause an alignment. So to set in order is to cause an alignment. So once the bone is broken, it is shifted from alignment from the socket. So what do? They set it in order. They put it in the right place. So this year we need to do what? We need to carry out epidiotos. We need to set in order alignment of our lives, oneness of life, oneness of thoughts. There is a mark that we need to get to. So what do? We cut out the excesses. So we must cut out the excesses this year. Cut out the excesses and be focused. And be focused. Set in order. Set in order. The thing that is lacking. The thing that is lacking means the thing that is displaced, that is not in the proper place. So what do? Set it in order. So that's the word. We must straighten upon what is lacking. It's clear. Yeah. So we must set in order. So that is the idea. So it is where I organize, put things in a proper perspective to align. So it's clear. So I want to just link this with a methodology we use in the industry. As I'm an industry-based expert, professional, especially in the quality section, food manufacturing. So, and in that aspect, there's a methodology that we use, in the lab and carrying out our operation. So the methodology is what we call 5X model. 5X model. So briefly, I want to just link what I'm saying with that model, 5X model, so that we can begin to see how we can apply this 5X to our life. 5X, that is letter X like this. Yeah. So what is 5X about? It's very simple. It's a simple thing. So 5X is simply a workplace arrangement method for the purpose of efficiency, effectiveness, and safety. So we put our workplace in order because this year is a year of work. So for you to begin to work this year, you have to carry out 5X in your life. Yes, you have to carry out 5X in your life. So 5X is a workplace organizational method, right? So the idea of 5X, 5X means each of the letters begins with X, and there are 5 of them. Yeah. So the history behind it is that, as I said, the history, of course, is from manufacturing. Is from manufacturing sector, and it's a Japanese is from Japanese origin. Yeah, it's from Japanese origin. So 5x is a Japanese coined words. 5 of them. So they are basically the 5x began basically as part of. If you look at the historicity of it, it began as part of the Toyota production system. At the Toyota Motors company. Toyota that does car. Yeah. So it began there in the early and mid 20th century. So the idea is to reduce waste, to reduce cost, because this year you have to reduce waste, you have to reduce cost. And one way to do that is to set your life in order. Are you get what I'm saying now? Yeah. Is to set your life in order. So 5x is very beneficial. Very beneficial. You can gain knowledge from it. You can apply the principle of 5x. So the benefit of 5x is, number one, is that it reduces costs. You don't have to spend more because you have set it in order, so you know what it will take. But when you are living your life without setting in order, you are going to be incurring costs and debts that you did not bargain for. So the benefit is, number one, is that it helps to reduce costs. It helps to ensure high quality. It helps to increase productivity. It helps for greater, workplace satisfaction, putting the setting in order to have a safer work environment. So this year, to also have a safer work environment, you have to do what? Set in order. So as I said, there are 5 Japanese coined words. That's where we get 5x from. So I will just say them in Japanese, but I will not stay with the Japanese word so that we will not cut our tongue. I'm not a Japanese. So, but I will just give you the Japanese one, then we'll stick to the English version of it. So we have the first one, which is Seiri. And we have the second one, which is Seitan. We have the third one, which is Sieso. We have I'm speaking Japanese now. We have the fourth S, which is what? Seketsu. And then we have the fifth one, which is Shisuke. So these are the 5 Japanese words from where we have 5x from. You can see all of them start with S. So, but the English rendition for it is very simple. We have salt. The first S is salt. The second S is set in order. And that's what we are discussing. The second S is set in order or strengthen. The third S is shine, S-H-I-N-E. The first one is what? Sort, S-O-R-T. The second one is what? Set in order. The third one is shine, S-H-I-N-E. The fourth one is standardize. And then the fifth one is what? Sustain. So these are the 5X that we're going to be talking about. But I will not go into it deeply. Maybe one of these days I'm going to make it public. I'm going to, have training on food safety and lean manufacturing. For those of you that are into quality management, quality systems, quality, production and all that. So I will create a program for that, because that's my area of professionalism. Yeah. So, but why I had to bring this is so that we can see that there's something we can apply from that 5X to our life. So the first thing about 5X is what? Salt, which is the Japanese parallel, which is seiri, salt. To salt simply means to, just imagine the way we used to do it then when we were kids, or when you want to arrange your house. When you want to arrange your house, what do? You bring out all the items. For example, your house is disorderly, your house is scattered. What do? You bring out all the items that you can find. Just bring out everything. So the same way you can apply it to your life, bring out all your strengths. Bring out everything that you know how to do. Bring out everything that relates to you. Everything you want to do, every of your strengths, bring everything to the table. Is that clear? Yeah. So you put everything forward, both the useful one, both the one that is not useful. Bring everything out. That's sorting. So the next thing is what? Set in order. So to set in order now is to now begin to put all the necessary items where they rightfully belong. So that the idea of setting in order is when you have brought them and you now begin to arrange them so that it will be easy for identification. So that if we are looking for salt, we know where to go. If you are looking for pepper, we know where to go. And sometimes it also involves labeling, putting a tag. And that's what we do in the lab. So that when you are looking for a particular chemical, you have to know where it is. So that you don't mix them up. So that's what it means to set in order. You put them in their rightful place. Right? So you arrange the workplace, put things where they are supposed to be for easy selection, to assign fixed location for each of the things. Right? So the next thing you now do is to shine. To shine simply means to sweep and to clean your environment. To sweep and to clean your environment. So you now begin to set the place, to clean the place, shine, to shine, when you are shining, to shine, to clean, to make sure everything is okay. The things that you have put in order, there are no dust and everything. So you shine. So the next thing is standardize. To standardize means to ensure that these first three parts I've mentioned, they are going well, right? So you establish schedule to check. So standardize means to check the process. To check the process. To ensure that sorting is properly done and is being done. What else again? Setting in order and what? And shining. So the final one is to sustain. To sustain means to do what? To maintain and to improve. That's the meaning of sustain. You ensure that these four processes continue, they are on repeat, and you are looking for ways to ensure that you improve the system. So, but there's something we can learn from these 5X, which is basically the idea of 5S, and which is about what? Workplace, arrangement. Having a good workplace environment, organization of the workplace. Right? Yeah. So this year, even the church has to set things in order. The purpose for setting in order because judgment of alignment will come. Yeah. The judgment of alignment will come. We visit the land. So only those that have been properly aligned will not be hit by the blow. So you must begin to carry yourself, gather your mind, gather your thoughts. If the heart is single, the whole body will be full of light. And begin to set in order. Begin to strengthen the broken bones and align them back to their sockets. So if you have some baggages of hurt, of pain, of all those things, they will act as a clog in the wheel of progress this year. So you have to do what? Set in order. Right? So I want to believe this came out, interesting to you, and you picked one or two things from it, which I believe is going to be very, very critical for this year. So as we are about to set out into the year, it's also very important for us to set in order the things that are lacking. So forget about what has passed, forget about what happened in 2023, forget about all the things all the failures and all that. No, what we need to begin to do now is to begin to set yourself in order. Yeah, set yourself in order. The journey is far. The journey is far. The journey is far. So you need to begin to set yourself in order. All right, so this is where I'm going to draw the curtain for today. So I want to believe you've learned something, you've gotten something today, set in order, and this is the idea of what it means to be jack of all trades. I don't have time to talk about jack of all trades today. Maybe in a subsequent session, we're going to talk about jack of all trades. This year, you cannot be in one place. The other time I showed you skill. So you cannot say you want to stay on one skill. No, that would be an error. You have to pack all the skills. That's the essence of setting in order. Set in order so that you will attend to things with ease. You will attend to things with ease. You will put structure to things, to your life. right? You put structure to your life. So we have to be jack of all trade, yeah, and then set our lives in order. So I know 2024 is going to be a good year. It's going to be a great. The year is already looking good, and there are other things that are going to come that's going to look like bad news because the economy is not going to be smiling. There will be news of pain. There will be hidden things that you have not seen begin to spring out, begin to burst forth. But we have to set ourselves in order. So we have to set ourselves in order. Put yourself in. Check your life. How have you been behaving? What have been your moral value like? So this year you have to decide to change. You have to decide to change. You cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. Right? So you have to decide to change. You have to decide that transformation will replace resolution this year. So set your life in order. Are you living right? It's time to set it in order so that the judgment that is coming, that is a test of alignment, you escape it. Thank you so much for your time. Please share this video, like and comment. Have a good day. And remember, it is still wisdom and faith conversation for 2024. God bless you. Shalom.